People just keep living in the past, and those people are insufferable. I bring this up because every time a new movie comes out, or a sequel, or a reboot, or just anything new and fresh, people always want to go to the past. And the past is not always, in fact, a lot of times, it's worse. It's not always better, it's worse. I bring this up because the Superman trailer came out. I'm super excited. Guess what? It has color. Superman has color. It's so weird. People are watching this. There's a lot of hate online. This Superman trailer looks great. It looks better than Man of Steel. It looks like Superman. It looks like hopeful. It looks like the original films. And it's so funny because when people compare Henry Cavill's Superman to the original Superman, they're going to say the original's better. But then when they compare this Superman to Henry Cavill's is better. Even though this one looks more like the original, you get what I'm saying? Like for some weird reason. And then people want to get mad about accuracy. They want comic book accuracy. How was Snyder's Superman comic book accurate? I'm gonna be honest, I was like scared. I'm like a little scared to make this video because I feel like I'm gonna get some dislikes, some unsubscribes by people getting mad that I'm defending James Gunn's universe, or just I'm not bashing on Snyder or Cavill, but criticizing it in terms of what people say about it. I have no hate towards Henry Cavill. I have no hate towards Zack Snyder. Do your thing. It wasn't that universe was not for me. But you know what? It's all subject. I say this every time. It's all subjective. Whatever. Do you. It was not. It was void of color. It was void of hope. It was void of life. You know? Like, Superman is lively. It's every other movie and show he's in, or comic. Sure, I mean, I hate that. I hate when people say just read a comic. Anyway, that's what you think of with Superman. But people are so hung up on the past that we're getting comments like this and like that. Like this one I just saw. They're bringing up the random stuff. Oh, Superman can withstand a nuclear blast with no energy, but with no injury. Oops. But if I could speak, if I could read, that would be really nice. But actively, a can hit his head. Now he goes on to reiterate. I'm just saying that he reacts when a can he blinks, he flinches. And someone decided to post this clip of Man of Steel.
Don't forget your tip.
No comment on that though. He did not comment on that because they find the littlest things to nitpick and realize, oh wait, Henry Cavill did that too. His thing did that. But no, they don't yap about it then when they get proven wrong. And this is just kind of that bias that people have, that they just can't let their opinions change. We see this all the time. We see this in politics. We see this in politics. But people have this idea, they get proven wrong, and then they're like, what? I didn't see that. It must have been the wind. No, you know, he's just flinching at something being thrown in his head. Just because he's super strong doesn't mean he can't blink. And people want to get mad at the change of the symbol because it should be like the original symbol. I mean, I see that a little bit more. They're so used to that symbol. But, yeah, look at this picture. The symbol changes all the time. What is wrong with that? No one's complaining about Snyder's symbol being different or his suit being gray. No one's yapping about that. Or how about the fact that Clark Kent and Cavill looked the same? We actually have Jimmy Olsen, but no one's yapping about that. Why? Because I don't know. I really don't know. But it goes further than that. It goes into Star Wars. Guys, please. Guys, the prequels were hated, and then the sequels came out and the prequels are great, and then the sequel of the sequel is going to come out, and then episode 9 and 8 are going to be great. Look at the fighting in the prequels. Look at the CGI. They were hated for a reason. They're not good. Now, I'm not over here saying, you know, if you want to think the sequels are better, great. I'm not here to argue Star Wars. I'm just saying nostalgia is giving this lens to people where we just think for some reason that the past is always better. The past is not always better. No. Even something like Hulk. If Hulk changes and starts being like sentient or smart, we get so mad. Hulk should stay the same. And then we get mad because, just Deadpool was just a nostalgia fest. It was just nostalgia. It wasn't good. There's some people on the other side though, that nostalgia, it's just nostalgia. I hate this critique with with Spider-Man 3, No Way Home. It angers me. It was only good because it's just nostalgia that made it good. No, it wasn't, because Deadpool had a lot of nostalgia. The Flash had a lot of nostalgia. The reviews weren't as good. The box office wasn't as good. No, Spider-Man No Way Home was a good movie. It had some nostalgia with the characters. Sure, they came back. It was not good because of that, as we've seen with other movies. I like Deadpool and Wolverine, wasn't as good as that movie. I had more cameos though. Should be better. No. We see this more. We see this even in video games, man. We should go back to OG Fortnite, back when there was no sprinting. It's so slow and clunky. People not wanting to sprint. Like, there's quality of life things that we've done to improve. I mean, there's even like, you see a remaster for something and people are complaining that the old graphics looked better. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. You throw ray tracing on that bad boy, it looks better. Can you say that artistic, you know, maybe the artistic style of it looked better? Like when they remastered the GTA trilogy, it's in this artistic style that just looks different. Sure, if you want to argue that, or if they make something that looked like, throw ray tracing on Minecraft, it's not inherently better because it has a certain look and the ray tracing creates this different look. You can win that argument, fine. But if you have a game that is trying to be realistic and then you throw ray tracing in modern graphics, it looks better. You can't tell me Last of Us Remastered doesn't look better than the original. That looks more lifelike. It looks more human. That's what the original game went for. Ellie only looks like that because they didn't have the technology we had. She looks more like a human being now. She looks more realistic now. Like, oh my god, I saw so many comments saying she looks uglier now. Dude, she's a kid, bro. A kid. What is that? Also, she just looks more like the actress or the motion cap act, whoever is the face of her. It looks better. The game looks better. There's even living in the past. I wish, man, we gotta go back to the 80s. Please go back to the 80s. I'm glad I didn't live there because homework is easier. Life's easier. I mentioned this in my last video, which you can click. My camera, for the quality I got for the money, hell no, couldn't get that back then. The information I have, hell no, the internet's great. I like my YouTube. I can learn so many things so easily. I can watch so many movies for cheap. You know, VPN it. I'm not saying do that, but you know, no, I don't want to live in the 80s. Some people say, let's go back to the 40s. The 40s was a simpler time. Yeah, when people of color didn't have rights and women didn't have rights. What a brilliant time. Let's go back to it when there was no AC and it took 17 miles to get by horse. No, please don't. Please don't do that. I like my Bluetooth, man. I don't want to go back. I like my Bluetooth. There's this rose-colored lens on nostalgia. It's angering me. The fact that some people think CGI looked better back then. The fact that people think that this character has changed, so it should be the way it was back then. There was this post that James Gunn put out. Pop it up there. And it's basically someone saying it should have the original S. And Superman's, well, okay, well, this is the original S. It changes. Also, this symbol is not new. He didn't just make this up. This is a symbol that has been in the comic books. He just decided to use it for this guy. Switch it up. I get the culture shock of nostalgia. It's different. It's like starting a new job. It hits you and you're like, okay, this is a little different. This is fresh. This is something I'm not used to. That's okay. But acknowledge that it's just because you're not used to it, not because it's bad. James Gunn didn't do something bad. David Corenswet is not a bad actor or doesn't look like Superman. He looks like Superman. If Henry Cavill never happened, he looks just like Superman. He's chiseled. He's the tallest Superman. He's built. Look at this picture. How are you going to tell me he's not built? People want to complain about that. This guy's too skinny. Henry Cavill was natural. He was huge. Henry Cavill is huge. But he also had a muscle padded suit. Not, well, like a definition. He was the size, but it defined his muscles. Sorry, guys. Sorry, hate to break it to you. But everything that you put on it, unless you want Superman to be more dark and gritty and you like Henry Cavill's for that more, that's your opinion. I don't agree with it for Superman, but then I'm like, okay, you're right. This one was more like this. But for all these other arguments that Henry Cavill was more of a Superman or that Snyder did a better, more accurate universe. No, he did not. No, he did not. I don't agree with all James Gunn's choices either. For example, Drax being gray instead of green. I don't know why he did that. Like, sometimes he does things too accurate. Like, the Trunks is pretty bold. I agree with their decision and their reasoning for doing it because whatever, you can read about it. It's just so frustrating. And these people are so, This is not a video about criticisms, even though I have my criticisms. This is not about that. This is criticisms to people's arguments. And this is a counter argument towards that because their arguments, in my opinion, are not valid, are a little ridiculous, are a little overboard. But anyway, that's just my opinion.